Step into the Kathy Rogers podcast studio for the familiar comfort of your best friend's mom. Explore what shapes us, strengthens us, and connects each of us to God's distinct purpose. Get ready for new ways of seeing how resilience bears fruit.
I'm Kathy Rogers. Welcome to the Kathy Rogers podcast. Thank you so much for sending questions. Your emails on home and parenting are what led to today's podcast. It's such a huge topic, but I really just wanted to give you a basic foundation of what we found important to our family. I know we've heard the phrase, home is where the heart is, but I want to put a little twist on that today. What is the heart of your home? I grew up wishing to be the 1960s TV mom, the perfect homemaker, preparing dinner, serving it in the dining room at the same time every day on china, to the perfect kids and the perfect husband. That was quite a fantasy. Where all of the trials and conflicts are resolved in 30 minutes. However, I think there are some things that we think our family should be that are just as fictional. I believe we can have intention, parameters to assist us in building the home life, the parenting strategy. We have a choice on how our home will be. In ours, we tried 4 basic principles, not really rules, but more categories that intertwined with things that we wanted to guide our character based on biblical principles and what God had planned for each of our lives. This is the basis of Team Rogers. Haven, encouraging words, strong relationships, and authenticity. Now, I don't really remember planning a meeting or having a strategy. This probably evolved more from frustration, conflict, things that didn't work, or maybe wise mentors that we thought, what a great idea. Or this could have been a strategy we came up with after a business conference that we thought, oh, this will work in a family. That is a thing, by the way. The point is, you get to decide how your family will be. Here's what we did. I just hope it stimulates some creativity for you. First of all, our home would be a haven, a secure place, no picking on each other in a mean way. Since within a family, we know each other the best. We know the weaknesses, the insecurities, but we didn't allow those to be tools or weapons to hurt somebody. If we got to a point of joking beyond what was really funny or all picking on the same person at the same time, we stopped that. We apologized. Except for if it was mom, because I think that's a fun thing, especially when they get from like 9, 10 on. Everybody picks on mom. That's okay. This mom had Teflon. I didn't care. There have been times in our family when conflict or discord just seemed to rule the roost. It seemed like everybody was on everybody. There are different ways to handle that. Usually more grace from the parents and maybe some praise and worship music playing in the background. I think the discord can just be chaos that Satan likes to plant if things are going great in your family. Our haven needs to prevent the world from coming in and hurting, and we can be healers, nurturers, especially in an insecure world of adolescence. This was something I didn't really understand as a child. My mom worked a lot. She was a great mom, but we spent a lot of time at home. I was the older sister, quite a bit manipulative. My sister was more thoughtful, had a lot of intelligent thoughts, but I didn't understand that. And my insecurity used that as a weapon against her. Lots of regrets about the way that I treated her. And I didn't think that was a great environment. So my kids heard about it a lot. That was always my excuse of, this is why we're going to be a haven. Today, I appreciate my sister. She's brilliant. But this leads to the next one, encouraging words. Our words are powerful. They can be used to encourage or carelessly in anger or frustration or impatience or a cheap joke that crosses the line. In our home, we tried to remember that words are bricks. The bricks tossed at someone hurts. But if they were used to build a platform or a refuge or a wall, these were the ways our words could be used for a secure environment. We also regulated how we talked to ourselves or responded. I can't was not acceptable. How can I led to more problem solving or at least independent thinking. Rejecting false statements about ourselves was always important too. The lies that Satan wants to tell us about ourselves starts pretty early in life. You are not ugly. You are not unlikable. You're a child of God, and He created you that way, so we didn't allow you to say bad things about yourself. Kids can be so hateful with words, even adults, and particularly in the anonymity or the protection of a social media post or comment. If we've created an environment for our kids to grow strong and know truth about themselves, the most hateful comments can lead us to the truth that it's their problem when they say mean things about you. It's not about you. And eventually, ultimately, in God's plan, can we pray for even our virtual enemies? Not everyone has the right perspective to know that that's not a good thing. Most evil comments, cruel comments, come from an insecure bully. Our relationships, especially in our family, the bonds that we form are the longest lasting. They can be the strongest and tether us in the storms of life that we're all going to face. Is your interaction and leadership one that strengthens or weakens these bonds within your home? Do you find yourself comparing your kids, pitting them against one another? Do you have favorites? The Bible is full of examples where parental favoritism did not turn out well for the sibling relationship. Think Jacob, Esau, Joseph, and his brothers. Now, of course, God used these people within the lives of his people. However, those were not examples of great sibling relationships. Our marriage relationship is another important bond within our family. It should be our primary relationship, the foundation of our family. When our kids were young, Brian would tease, "Who do you think my favorite is?" Oh, everybody wanted it to be them. And he would always say, "It's your mom." "What? I want it to be, why is it mom?" He would explain, "I chose your mom first, and she will always be my favorite." Now, that is a joking way of explaining that the marriage relationship is going to last a lot longer than your kids are going to be under your roof. I'm not sure I understand the psychology or the sociology behind it, but I do believe and have seen evidence of a strong marriage giving children a strong foundation, a safe place to grow and learn who they are. There's value in seeing the love, the respect, the humor, the friendship, the forgiveness in conflict. It is an important way that we set the example. He uses all of our relationships within the family to teach us things about Him, including sacrificial and unconditional love. I do want to note here that these are not ideals, these are principles. Real life happens. And if you think that there's something that you can't handle within your marriage relationship or even parenting your children, seek godly counsel. Don't try to do it alone. There's no shame in getting help or asking for advice. I grew up in a family with generational addiction and substance abuse. And without the awareness of that, I didn't realize how the shadow of those habits were affecting my reactions and responses to conflict within our family. But I believe that God's help, strongholds can be broken and new family habits can be formed. Now, the fourth thing within our household, authenticity. This is such a hard concept within our culture. It may be the hardest. We desire, maybe not consciously, but we want approval. We want to be accepted by our neighbors, our church friends, coworkers, classmates. We want to show the best to the world. But this dual approach to life of being your best outside your home, but maybe relaxing on the inside with conflict, rudeness, anger, these performance habits can lead to stress, inconsistency, instability within your family home life. I guess what I'm trying to say is we can control our behaviors and we can control the situation. That works fine until it doesn't and things fall apart. But there's a freedom in choosing to see who you are in the Creator who made you and loves you as you are, broken and everything. If we accept that and the grace that God gives us, we can accept ourselves. We make a mistake. We apologize. We learn from it. We heal relationships. Or we can just try to control our behavior, make sure we're doing good things. Sometimes our goodness comes out of fear of God's wrath, fear of other people's opinions, or our good behavior can come from the knowledge that God created us and that He wants us in our love for Him to be obedient, to seek what is right and best for our lives. See, your behavior can look the same, but your heart can be different. And the authenticity comes when we see who we are in Christ. We give grace to others. We accept ourselves as we are with the desire to learn more about how to be more like Christ and how He created us to be. I hope I'm explaining this clearly because there is such a confidence in knowing that you're the same at home as you are outside of home. Your kids trust you. They're not unsure of what your reaction will be. They know you. And it creates a place of confidence to learn about themselves. Trust creates security in our families. Now, before we discuss parenting, there are a few facts I would like to lay out there. Motherhood is not easy, but hard does not equal bad. It is worth it. Motherhood is hard, time consuming. Hormones are nuts. Think about when your child is young and it takes you a couple of years to get over the hormones. Well, if you've had another child within those couple of years, you can lead to decades of hormones being unbalanced. My suggestion, give yourself grace as you learn. And one of the most fun things I loved about being a mom, you only have to be a first-time mom one time. I can remember the paranoia of having that new baby first time, thinking everything I'm doing impacts the rest of her life. I think I was overblowing it a bit. I'm hoping it was the hormones, and I hope she's not permanently damaged. But those thoughts seemed very real at the time. A bit irrational, but very true in my head. Remember this important fact. The people that are in your family, the children that God has given you, He did not do by accident. It's with purpose. The individuals are there together to form a family with harmony and depth and beauty of individuality. God gave you the unique humans that are in your family, and you can do this. So remember to give yourself grace while you're learning how. I wanted to share a few actions that we found beneficial. Gosh, I wish one day to be able to come up with a cute acronym for all of these, but for now, we're just going to have to go with the way they came out. The first one is pray. The second one is see each child as a unique individual. The third, lead by example. The fourth, allow your children to experience difficult things and make their own decisions. And fifth, parent in community. The first one I would like to shout in all caps, pray. Specifically, regularly, with praise and thanksgiving. Prayer is so powerful. It changes you. It's powerful for you because you're doing it, and powerful for the person that you're praying for. Generationally, we can pray for our families. My mother shared a story about her grandfather, which was my great-grandfather, who was a carpenter and a very godly man who prayed not only for his children, his grandchildren, his future great-grandchildren. It's a lovely picture of how we can affect future generations that will never know. And this week's song can be a generational prayer. The Blessing by Carrie Job and Cody Carnes with Elevation Worship. It is a song that is a prayer in itself as you read the lyrics. So pray privately and with your children. You can pray for your adult children, your in-laws, your grandchildren. It's a wonderful tool to create a bond there where you get to know what's going on in each other's lives as you pray. Treat your children as individuals. Know them. Appreciate them. They are unique, not their siblings, not a mini you, not an extension of yourself. Now, it's fun to see family traits in each other and express how, wow, you act just like your mom did when she was that age. It strengthens our bond and it's a fun connection, but they're still individuals. There's something unique about each person that's in our family. God created them that way. God loves your children more than you can even imagine and more than you can. He doesn't have any grandchildren. Your child is God's child. Be purposeful in how you are as a family, as individuals. God put you there, no accidents. There truly is a depth of harmony as we learn, appreciate, and acknowledge the individuality of each person within our family. There are so many ways to understand your family members and how they're wired. I'm kind of a geek about personality assessments, but I want to encourage you with the love language book first. If you're not familiar with the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, it helps us express love based on how each person receives the love. We just revisited this. These books have been around forever. They have them for kids. We started doing it so we would get to know our grandkids. And it's a great reminder to help us. We know the love that we have for each other, but sometimes the way we're expressing it is not communicating effectively. Our third point in parenting, lead by example. This is going to tie pretty strongly back to the authenticity point earlier. We can't teach one thing, yet live another and expect consistent results. When we're exercising our faith and trusting God, our kids see this. We can set the example in our character, how we treat others, be willing to admit when we're wrong, and ask for forgiveness. Are we generous with our time, with our resources? We are teaching our children about God indirectly and directly, whether you realize it or not. Many things are caught versus taught. It makes it easier when you can be consistent in how you're living your life and setting that example intentionally. This next one may be one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. allowing my kids to experience hard situations and then make age-appropriate decisions. I had to learn to not develop the habit to intervene, to protect, prevent, rescue. This took patience. If they left their lunch at home, I'd like to run it up to them because I don't want to live with them in the afternoon when they get home, when they're grumpy because they didn't eat. Or you see a bad decision coming and you prevent it so you don't have to clean up the mess afterwards. We're robbing them of confidence and learning when we make things easier for ourselves instead of allowing these individuals to grow appropriately. As our kids get older and they experience the disappointment of betrayal or not making the team, not making the choir, not getting the part that they've practiced so hard, rehearsed, learned, those disappointments, I think, are magnified as a parent. We want to protect our kids from these disappointments. We want to change the outcome. We want to prevent the pain that we have to watch them go through. When I say that out loud, it makes me realize that I'm not just doing it for them, I'm doing it for me too. It's easier when things are rosy, happy, positive. That doesn't happen all the time. There are going to be disappointments. If we allow our kids to experience these things, guess what? God's going to use them. They will miss out on the blessings of how the circumstances turned out even better after missing a cut, missing a team, the appreciation of the next victory. God will use it to teach us about ourselves and teach us about each other. As my kids got older and they were in difficult social situations, I wanted to make sure that everybody was nice to them. Not reality. I, once again, would have prevented lots of deep lessons that God taught them in how his opinion of them was so much more important than the 7th grade opinion of him. I think sometimes I'm more scarred by the things of the past disappointments that my kids went through. They just seem so real and vivid. But God can heal that too. He can use it to teach all of us about his character. And that part about praying earlier, it grows even more in these circumstances. I want to give you a bonus song this week. Blessing I Can't See by Building 429. The lyrics give you reassurance in the value that we gain in the struggles that we experience. We can increase the confidence of our children by allowing them to make decisions. We're so much smarter. We've done this. We know how to do it. Sometimes our lives are so busy, we don't have time for their mistakes that come from their bad decision making. That's on us. When we don't allow our children to make their own decisions, or we question them while they're making their decisions, we are making the foundation unstable beneath them. They're not going to trust themselves. They may even risk not flying when it's time to be adults, to get out and make the big decisions. Show your kids that you trust their decision making, even if it's not yours. It builds confidence in them. And guess what? If your kids are smarter than you, it's a good thing. The final thing is parenting in community. It can be invaluable in reinforcing what we're trying to teach within the walls of our family. Evaluate who you're spending your time with. Who's your primary community? Sports club? music groups, teams, dance companies, church, home groups. Do these communities reinforce your family's values or contradict them? In the developing years for our kids, we found greater value in the character of the leader of the group versus the best experience, the winningest team, the most awards in the competition. You get to make those decisions on your own. Evaluate when choosing a team or an instructor. This is kind of trivial, and I'm not even sure exactly what happened, but when our oldest was a preschooler, I had 3 young kids and I just needed a break 2 days a week. So we enrolled her in a local preschool, drop her off. I mean, what would you do? Color, learn your letters? I'm not sure. But she would come home, and the days she wasn't there, we would pull out an activity. I don't know. I can't even remember specifics. But she would say, "Oh, we can't do it that way. Miss Crystal doesn't do it that way." And I was like, "Who's Miss Crystal and why does this matter?" Well, after 2 weeks of this, I realized that what I thought was going to be a reprieve from parenting was more exhausting because I was undoing whatever Miss Crystal was doing. Now, seriously, what could it have been? It was preschool, but the principle is still the same. Was Miss Crystal reinforcing the way mom did stuff, or was she undoing it and I had to fix it so things worked right in our family again? I don't know. That's kind of a lame story, but it's kind of funny too. There is strength in connecting with like-minded people who are teaching the same things you are, whether it's just neighbor families, Bible groups, small groups for your kids. How many times did our kids come home from church or a friend's house explaining some concept that they learned? Something that I had been saying for a long time. "Mom, did you know that God said and blah, blah, blah?" My thoughts were, "Of course I knew that. I've been trying to teach you that for years." But instead I learned to say, "Really? That's great. I'm so glad you understood that." Because the pride of being the one to teach it versus the fact that the kid finally got it, the value of the getting it was much greater. Now, these are just a few things that we found important in our family, hopefully to create an environment that raised confident children who love the Lord and his people. Back to the nurturing home. If we can learn who we are without judgment in the security of our homes, we gain confidence in who God made us to be. If we're secure in who we are, then we can accept others that are not like us without judging, without comparing, or having the need to tear them down to feel superior. We can set the example of finding common ground in this big, beautiful world that has different people in it. And if we can understand God's love and use it in raising our families to be confident individuals who then can go out and share his love without judgment, to learn to find the things that God sees in each human that he created. He loves them, and he can give us the eyes to see them too. God still loved each one of us, even when we were failures. God's economy of love is not a win-lose. It's not a he loves me more than he loves you. He loves each one of us because he created us that way. And as we grow up confidently within a secure home, does this mean it's going to be easy? No. Are there not going to be times of trouble? No. But there's security and there's a bond that forms. In the Bible, God notes how many different ways that he knows us and loves us. In Psalms, he knew us before we were born. He knows the number of hairs on our head. He knows the number of our days before one is even in existence. in our family. We've been blessed with various people, mentors throughout our lives who encouraged us, who shared wisdom with us. We are a close family, and we remain a close family. There are times when my children tease me about things that I didn't let them do that now seem pretty harmless, but I don't care. I like how they turned out. They're good kids. I grin because I like how each of them love the Lord and how they love each other. Was I a perfect parent? All caps. No way. But hopefully I taught grace. I shared God's love. I forgave, and I led by example when admitting I was wrong or I was learning or I don't know, but I know God knows. We have a motto that we use to encourage each other in our house. Take a risk, reap an adventure, no regrets. We never know the number of days that we have in our lives. Only God knows this. But we are blessed by the 29 years that we had with our Lena. I don't tell you this for you to be in fear, but for you to be intentional with your days, with your family, with the people that you love, that you can live your life with no regrets. God will honor your desire to care about what He thinks of how you're guiding the family and the home that He has given you. I pray that these ideas will be beneficial and help you in how your family will be. It's never too late to begin with God as the head of your home, of your parenting. Ask Him to guide you today. It may not be easy, but I believe it will be well worth it for you to allow Him to establish this family with every unique individual in it to bring greater love and honor to this world. I'll see you again next time. God bless you.
Please email your questions and comments to info@thekathyrogers.com. If you found value in this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to receive each episode when it posts. We appreciate you.